ATRE. This is the assistant.
The question really will be whether, when you enter in the reserve category, whether you can migrate subsequently. Now, we are all questions about came in the general category. The people who came in on the reserve category with concession marks and
What exempt clearly, because it's taking the judgment. General. Because frankly, you know, I read and reread it actually today, but who are your clients?
Yeah, general.
on merit.
You're all together in one group.
We are in one.
Let me hear just for any one person, Mr. Who would like to just fill us in 2 minutes?
What should we do without
This is assistant teacher recruitment in UP block.
UP basic education.
So the two qualifying block pensions, one is TET block and one is BD or BEd, etc. So there is no issue on that. So
That doesn't matter.
who block for these block for these minimum qualifications, even for TDT block, the benchmark for reserve is lower and the benchmark for unreserved is higher. But I am not making any grievance out of that. After this qualifying, we go for selection. When we go for selection, it's an exam called Assistant Teacher Recruitment Exam, ATRE. And even in ATRE, the qualifying mark for unreserved is 65, while it is 60 for them. So, when this happened, we were eligible. If you get 66, we are eligible. If they get 61, they will be eligible. But then this 65 and 61 also will be counted at some stage. So when we got our positions, in the so-called roster, we got our position in the general reserve category, general category.
You're all general category.
We are all general.
We are all qualified. We have all obtained more than the cutoff. It's not that we are waiting list, etc. We are not put those Calcutta matters, etc. So we were appointed. We are serving. So some people say that if you are reserve, can you occupy only a reserve seat, or can you also occupy an unreserved seat?
If a reserve category candidate gets into the order of merit, then you occupy.
No, it's only because of concession marks. So they got in only because of the concession marks. Now
That maybe, that might be I'm going to show you.
For the quality marks.
Those of the reserve category. I explain it. Have been appointed.
yes, in the reserve category.
In general.
No, not in the reserve.
But who are just eligible because of 60% lower cutoff.
Yeah.
So they come in because of the reserve category. So that's the question. We are having come through the reserve category or the lower relaxed mark concessions.
60, that is 60.
So if you have 61,
Can you again get?
beyond the limit of 8? I will go and take the unreserved seat and push out those who have got 66.
So they are not above 65.
They are not. No.
65 have been appointed.
Correct. So it is below the game between.
They only came in on weightage.
So the other way to look at it is this. So this is
May I not disclose?
Make sure one to those rules. Rule 14 I saw it.
Correct. Schedule 1.
Then you have appendix 1. Now, at what stage do the quality points?
Yes, at schedule 1 stage. At schedule 1 stage.
Because trying.
At schedule 1 stage.
Because trying.
That's the third stage.
Here on.
But may-
Quality points.
after the reservation is done. And then below the advertisement is.
That's the error.
And subsequently they are allowed to migrate. This is what we are objecting to.
May I just
What there is 50% are errors at ATRE examination. A general category candidate qualifies ATRE at 65. A reserve candidate qualifies ATRE at 60. Once you qualify, you are in two lists, the general list and the reserve list. What the state government did, any reserve candidate who had 65 and above was only considered in the general category. A reserve candidate who had less than 65 was not considered in the reserve category and kept reserved.
Not in the
General category kept reserved. Controversy arose whether this ATR is only a qualifying examination or is it part of a process of selection? Because if it is merely a qualifying examination, then you can't decide reservation on the basis of qualifying examination. That is a concession which is permissible. Like we had in TET, the case is completely covered by Vijay Sankla. So then after you pass the ATRE stage, then you come to the stage of selection process.
First, everybody appears for the
ATRE. And it is a sort of a,
If you are a reserve candidate.
yes, you are shortlisted for the next stage.
Right.
Now the next stage is Rule 14, Sub Rule 3 and 2, read with Appendix 1. There are various qualifying marks which are added. How much you have got in your first academic standard, second academic standard. ATRE also 20% of your total ATRE score is added in your total, 60% is added in your total score to make the merit list.
No concession there.
ATRE carries 60%.
Yes, no, just kindly now have the schedule.
1 second.
1 minute.
You just need to understand the.
So page 19 is the schedule.
If the judgment was clear, we would have had.
Just see page 19, which is the schedule. Page 19.
You know, it will have to be heard, we are being pushed out after 5 years.
Page.
Confirmed service. The Lordship will hear it. All we are saying.
Correct.
And universal, signal judge is reserved by.
Page, it's the controversy is very narrow.
Yes.
Now the question, just kindly see page 19, how the merit is to be made. If your lordship, it says high school percentage of marks 10 on 100, intermediate marks are added, graduation, BTC, ATRE, teaching experience, etc. All that is added at page 19 to make your final merit. Now the question is that it is at this stage that reservation is to be applied.
That's the question.
If my minimum marks are more than the general candidate, then I have to be considered in the general category. And that is what now the learned single judge said, the division bench statement. That is precisely what the division bench states. You cannot just put me in a compartment of reserve on the basis of that qualifying examination, which is not a process of selection. This issue your lordship decided first in Jitendra Kumar, and then the identical situation happened in TET. TET was merely a qualifying examination for candidate who qualifies TET with a reduced standard in the reserve category. When he competes, when the post is advertised, can he migrate from the reserve to the general category if in that process of selection his marks are more than the general candidate? Your lordships have emphatically answered it, relying on Jitendra Kumar's judgment, saying that is only a qualifying standard. And 20% of the qualifying marks have to be added in your total score. And therefore, or 60 here or 20, whatever. So 20% or 60% of your marks have to be added to your total score. And therefore, it is the total score which is the selection process.
So you take 60% of the ATRE now.
Correct.
Plus
Whatever it is.
quality, yeah, whatever it is.
Plus add your high school in the.
And the quality points.
Correct.
Then draw up a merit.
Correct.
And thereafter, any candidate who is meritorious enough to get into the.
Yes.
Will go in as an unreserved.
Correct.
As for minutes, just to add two things, under the well-settled principle that a meritorious reserve category making it on his own merit to be counted for. Now, minutes, your lordship said in TET, as my learned friend just pointed out, that insofar as TET, then minutes also had two facets to it. It was a qualifying examination and then also determined merit along with other factors. Your lordship said very clearly that the first part is a qualifying part. When it comes to selection, there a level play field is the expression your lordships repeatedly use, and say a level play field has been given.
So this is. Correct. Where the learned signature.
What
All appointment letters say subject to result of the.
what we want to say is this. The judgment needs to be, in the sense that the law needs to be correctly stated. What we do is that maybe if you can, all of you can give us one small compilation of not 2 to 3 pages of your submission, because the point is very narrow.
Yes, yes.
And likewise over here, we'll write a judgment and clarify the case in law.
Yes.
Today is Monday. If we keep it next Monday, will you be able to circulate your?
Your lordship may just,
Yeah.
your lordship may just note 2 judgments and just see those 2 judgments. Just 1 minute.
So it is so many.
Just see.
But with the number of counsel, we just say that nobody counsel on one side, if you can put together not more than 2 or 3 submissions, otherwise it will become.
May I make a submission request? This 2017 1 SCC page 350. 2017 1 SCC 350. Beyond that, we need to argue nothing. It is settled here. 2017 1 SCC.
There's no TET marks involved.
It is.
In respect of that's the only.
That's only the.
Reservation, my lord.
What is the, one second, what is the single judge do?
Single judge said TTE is all right, but the ATRE you cannot get concession twice over. In the ATRE also they've been given concession. So the single judge said, if they've taken the concession at the ATR stage, then they cannot claim migration afterwards and decide in our favor. Division benches reverse that.
Now, what is the nature of the concession which they took at the ATRE?
Wait.
60 and 65.
60 and 65.
That's all.
Not is a problem.
Even in TET, but we are not basing our case on TET, which was merely qualified by ATRE is a part of selection.
Selection and merit and also next time.
So,
I'm sorry.